The materials and the tools that we will be using to make this sun hat with the bow in the back. First, I have the G 4.0 millimeter hook. We have a large eye tapestry needle, pair of scissors, and in this hat I will be using 3 colors of cotton yarn. The first one here, and they're all made by Lily Sugar and Cream. This is in the color black. The next one is the color of wine, which is a maroon color. And then we have my little friend sitting up here saying hi. This one is called Jute, and it's more of a beige tan color. Ruff, ruff. Mom, are you going to make a hat for me too? Ruff, ruff. Yeah, I had to add that in there. Who knows? I might add something to them. So we're going to start with a magic circle, and we need at least a 6 to 8 inch tail for weaving in after we've started a few rows. So crisscross it over your fingers, go under, over, pull up a loop, and then finish it as if it was a chain stitch. Untwist the circle from the tail, and then take the loop and tighten it down. Let's chain 2. This will count as our first half double crochet. So onto our magic circle, we're going to place 12 half double crochets so that we will have a total of 13 when we're complete. Continue till you have 12 half double crochets, so please pause your video. So after you've double checked that you have added 12 half double crochets, let's pinch the end stitches and pull our tail so that we will close our magic circle. Okay. Then we're going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 2. Okay, so let's enlarge our loop on our hook, and while we have this here, let's go ahead and finish off our magic circle. So to do that, let's go ahead and thread our needle. And since the thread's coming out this way, we're going to continue to go around. So go into the center of those stitches. Make sure you don't get your loop caught like I did. Okay, and then tighten it up a little bit. Then go over the last strands of yarn, go over one, and then come back through, picking up as much as you can. All right, and go over one and go through it again. All right, and that'll hold it in place. Wiggle it so that you can get as much in there that you need. And let's take our scissors and cut it. So now we have our finished magic circle. So let's move on to row 2. Chain 4. This will count as our first double crochet and chain 1. Into the next stitch, 1 double crochet, chain 1. We're going to continue the the double crochet and chain 1 in each stitch around. So double crochet into the next stitch and chain 1. Please pause your video. I'll meet you at the end of the row. Now for this particular design, I have found that when you finish your row with a chain 1 before a slip stitch, it adds a little increase in size for the opening. So here's my suggestion, and this is what I'm going to do. We're going to chain 1, but tighten that chain just a little bit so that it's smaller than the size we need. Come over here and count up 3 chains, and then continue with your slip stitch. You'll notice that the opening here still has the same size as the rest. Alright, so let's start row 3. Chain 3, and in the same stitch, 1 double crochet. Chain 1. We're going to skip the chain, and over the next double crochet we're going to place 2 double crochets in that same stitch. And chain 1. Skip the chain, and into the next double crochet 2 double crochets. We're going to continue with this all the way around till we get to the end of the row. Please pause your video. So like at the end of this row, as I showed you in the last row, chain 1, but tighten the chain up just a little bit. See, it's smaller than what my hook is offering. Let's go up to the top of the chain 3 and slip stitch. We're now ready for row 1, 2, 3, row 4. Let's chain 3, and in our next stitch 2 double crochet. Chain 1. You'll notice that as we do each row, it's going to be building in amount. So here we had 1, this row we had 2, and this row we have 3 with our chain 1. So on our next 2 double crochets, the first one will get 1 double crochet, the second one will get 2 double crochets. This will be our increase. And chain 1 to separate, making like a column. Okay, so in the next one, 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets in the next. Chain 1. Continue around. I'll meet you at the end of the row. So let's finish off our row and slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 after you've made your chain stitch smaller. Alright, chain 3. Okay, so into this first double crochet after our chain, we'll take 1 double crochet. In the last one of the 3, we'll take 2 double crochet. Remembering that the chain 3 does count as our first double crochet. Then chain 1. Into our next group of 3, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and into the third one, 2 double crochet. And then chain 1. Okay, so as we go around, 1, 1, 2, chain 1, 1, 1, 2, chain 1. I'll meet you at the end of the row. So I've chained 1 and slip stitched into the top of the chain 3. So let's chain 3. And so for this row, we're going to have our increases so that we have a total of 5. So we have 1 right here. We're going to go into the next 1 for 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet into the next, and into this last one right here, we're going to add 2. And chain 1. Okay, so in our next group here, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet for number 2, 1 double crochet for 3, and in the last one, 2 double crochets. And chain 1. Okay, so what we're going to do here, 1, 1, 1, 2, chain 1. Continue that all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Now all the rows that we've been doing were increase rows. So what we're going to do now is to maintain the size that we have here. Okay, so our next row will not have the 2 in 1. Okay, so let's start on our next row here. Let's chain 3. This does count as the first double crochet, so double crochet 1 in the next 4. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 1. This is going to start going down the sides of our head. So into the next group that we have here, 1 per double crochet. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with a chain 1 in between. Okay, so we're going to do that all the way around. I'll meet you at the end of the row. So after this row, you'll notice that it'll start to curl up just a little bit, which is okay. So for the next 6 rows, we're going to be doing the exact same thing, and it's going to keep rising up. So let's begin. Chain 3, and then we'll double crochet into the next 4, chain 1, and continue on, double crochet into the next 5. So like I said just a second ago, let's do this for a continuation of 6 rows. I'll see you then. Well, after all those rows, look what we have, a nice little set, cup shape for our head. So I encourage you to try it on and make it feel, see if it feels comfortable on you. Then we're going to move on to our next row. Now that you're satisfied with the length that you need, let's go ahead, chain 1, and in the same first stitch, single crochet, single crochet into the next 4 stitches, single crochet into the chain 1 space, and single crochet over the 5. We're going to do this all the way around till we get to the end of our row, and then we'll do another row. Don't forget to single crochet into the chain 1 spaces as well. So continue around. I'll meet you here at the end of the row. Now at the end of this row, we're going to slip stitch into the first single crochet, and we're going to chain 1 again. Now this row will be a series of front post single crochets. I know, but it helps with the look of the hat. So let's go behind our single crochet, so we're going to do 3 single front post single crochets, which means 1 per single crochet. On the 4th one, we're going to place 2 on top of that single crochet. So here we have 1, and in the same location 2. And to let you know, we're starting on our brim. So we're going to do 3 singles and 1 double. I messed up again. So at the end of our row, we're going to slip stitch into this first single crochet. So to get the look that we need for the bow in the back of the hat, I'd like for you to chain 45. So I'm going to start off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue till you get 45, so please pause your video. Now, after you've chained your 45, make sure that it's not twisted then skip over the 5 single crochets, and into the 6th one place a single crochet. That'll help lock this in place here. Okay, so now we're going to start our next row. If you would like, to help you to remember, you can place a stitch marker. This is not necessary because we'll know where the beginning and ending of each row on this will be anyway. But as a reminder, you can use a stitch marker if you choose. Okay, so this next row that we're going to do will be of front post single crochets. So let's go around the first one, do a front post single crochet, the second one, front post single crochet, the third one. Now on the fourth one, we're going to place 2 onto the same single crochet. So 2 front post single crochets. Okay, this will be an increase row because this is what we are doing to start our brim. So all the way around, we're going to go until we meet to the chain stitch again. 3 single crochet, front post single crochets, and then into the fourth one, 2 front post single crochets. All right, so continue around until you get here to the chain, right here. Once you get to there, just do regular single crochets using the same 3 singles, 1 double, 3 singles, 1 double. Okay, and I'll meet you back here at our stitch marker. So, does yours look like mine? Remember to add the 2, 1, 2, 3, and then the 2. Okay, because the increase has to be within the bow section as well. So I've come back here and I got my third one caught on. I'm right here at the beginning with my stitch marker. Now each row will be like a spiral until we get to the very end. So do not slip stitch, do not chain 1, do not anything. Just keep right on going around. So this starts row 2. Okay, you'll notice that row 1 is the front posts. So every time I refer to a row, you can always use your front posts as row 1, and then just count up from your stitch marker, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so rows 2, 3, and 4 will be just straight all the way around single crochets. To make things a lot easier, I'm going to place it right here, what you're going to do for the whole brim on increasing. So I'm also going to include my little piece of paper here. Can't really read it because of the light and the camera, so I'm going to read it to you, but I will post it right here. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, so rows 2, 3, and 4 is straight single crochet all around. Row 5 will be single crochet 4 times single, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 5th one will be 2 single crochets in the same space. And you'll repeat that all the way around for 1 row. Row 6, 7, and 8 will be single crochet all the way around. Row 9 will be a single crochet times 5. So you will do 5 single crochets, and then on the 6th one you'll do 2 single crochets, and you'll do that all the way around. Row 10 and 11 and 12 will be single crochet all the way around. Row 13 will be single crochet 6 times, so 6 single crochets, and on the 7th will be 2 single crochets all the way around. Row 14 and 15 row 14 and 15 will be straight single crochet. When you get to the end of row 15, I will meet you there and show you how to finish it off, and then we'll start adding our separate colors. So remember to follow what's right here on the screen, and I'll see you after you do this. So please pause your video, and you're going to be covering 14 rows for your brim. Okay, try to keep your tension firm, not tight. Okay, see you in a few. So after you've completed all of those rows, you want to stop that last single crochet in the same area as where your stitch marker was for the beginning of each row. After you do that, you want to slip stitch into the next stitch and cut it with a short tail. The next color we will be using will be black, and to find the placement of it, we're going to take the piece that had the long chain, and we're going to match up the 2 ends right here at the hat, fold it out, and we're going to start right here. This will be the center of our bow, and we'll want the stopping and starting of the black to be right here. So go ahead and place a slip knot on your hook, and I'll show you what to do next. So we're going to start with a standing single crochet. So I have my loop on my hook. I inserted my hook into the 2 stitches. Bring your yarn, oops, sorry I shook the camera here. Bring the yarn of your tail over, and then make and create your single crochet. And you can stitch over this tail a couple of stitches. So single crochet 1 in each stitch around. Remember to keep your tension firm but not tight. Okay, so go all the way around, and I'll meet you back here. So here I am in my last few stitches. Okay, I'm going to slip stitch into that first one. Okay, so I'd like for you to leave a tail about 8 inches long. And then we'll finish this off right here. Alright, so let's go ahead and see if we can thread our needle. Okay, and let me pull the camera out. I'm really close. So go back to folding the piece that we had here for our bow. And then like put a crease in it. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to mark the center. So that way when we fold it, we will know that the bow will be even for both sides. Just something to make the job a little bit easier. This is going to be covered anyway, so don't feel bad if, you know, if it's in there and whatnot. And then just, we'll finish it going this direction. That's so it won't fall out. Okay, and stretch it just a little bit. Okay, so we still have some more black single crochet that we're going to do. So to do the next thing is we're going to start here with a slip stitch on our hook. I know you see a lot of paint on my hands. I was painting and I don't have any acetone or mineral spirit, so sorry. Okay, so just pick up the one thread or the two right there. And we're going to do one single crochet all the way around. Now when we get to the chain, we're just going to pick up that one part of the chain because there's going to be no pressure or no tension on it. Okay, so just pick up that one part of the chain, go all the way around, slip stitch this closed, and then I'll show you the next thing we're going to do using the black yarn. So we have our center of our bow with our coloring here. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come through here and go over the very first row of single crochet that's right here next to the double crochet row. If you remember, on top of that we placed our front post single crochets. We're not going to go over that. So let's place a slip knot on our hook. Okay, so here's our first one, and I'm just going to go off to the side of it. I'm going to do a single crochet. Now this single crochet will not lay flat. It will be right next to it, and it'll flatten when we put the second color on. So here's our second single crochet. So go in at the bottom, come up over to the side, you see right here, and we're just going to go over to the side and do another single crochet. We're going to do this all the way around the bottom of the hat portion, not the, you know, where the hat and the brim start to separate. So here's our next one. So I'm going to go in on the bottom and off to the side. Okay, so do that all the way around and come here, and then go ahead and tie it off, and I will meet you there. So now that we have it trimmed nicely, we're going to place one more color on here, which I think you'll like. Now, If you choose not to use a separate color, I encourage you to do this step anyway, because this will help add strength to the outside and to the rest as well. So if you plan on using the same color, please do this. If you change it, that would be great. So my color is the maroon, and we're going to start with a good sized tail because you want to weave it in later. And so we're going to start with a enlarged loop. Okay, so probably about this big on your hook. We'll adjust it as we need it. Okay, so starting here in our center back, we're going to go under. I know it's hard to see with the black here, but you want to go under that V stitch right here, and then pull up the loop. And I need to adjust this just a little bit, so I'm going to tighten this loop up just a tiny bit. Okay, we want the loops to be long enough so that it doesn't pull, but helps maintain the firmness that we need. So we're going to go down, and we're going to come to our working yarn and pull it up. We're just going to do a slip stitch. Okay, so adjust your loop, go down, and slip stitch. This will add a nice little touch to your hat as well. Make sure your loops are the same size. This one here is a little small, so I'm going to redo it, because this will be like top stitching as well, but it'll help add the firmness that's needed for the last row here. So go ahead and do that all the way around. Okay, so here's what I have so far, and it adds a nice little touch here too in the back side. Okay, remember when we stop and start, this is the center, so we don't have to worry too much about these loose ends, but we will weave them in. Then after you go all the way around and then cut your yarn here and weave it in to the center, come over here where you started to the inside circle. Go ahead and do the same thing there. And then when you come over here and do this side, you're going to lay down this, and you're going to be pulling the yarn up from the bottom. If you have problems with that, I will show you when we get to that point, but you're going to be doing the same thing. You'll be pulling, you'll be going down inside and pulling up. It's going to be a little tricky because there is quite a bulk in there. You'll pull it up and just, you know, bring your loop up, just a slip stitch all the way around. Once we finish all of this top stitching, then we still have the little band to do to go inside the center of the bow, and then we'll be finished with our hat. So go ahead and do those three things, one around the outside, one in the center, and one here, and then we'll start on the little band piece. So I'm doing the band part around the bottom of the hat. Now you want to make this loose. When you go through the black and then go through the beige, you'll be picking it up here on the bottom of the hat. So pick up your loop, bring it through, and complete that slip stitch. Okay, just go through and go down, pull up that yarn. Okay, now even though you'll be bending your brim over, it will go back to being straight. You see, I didn't even put forth much effort, so don't worry about that part. Just go in, go straight down, pick up your yarn, make sure your tension's right, And we'll move on to the next one. All right, so to start our little band piece, let's place a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to start with a chain of 6. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to skip the first chain here, and in the second chain to the rest of the row, 1 single crochet. At the end of the row, we'll chain 1 and turn and single crochet 5 single crochets per row for a total of 12 rows. So here I'm in my last one here. All right, so chain 1 and turn and single crochet 5 single crochets across, chain 1 and turn. When we are complete, this little piece should measure close to 3 inches long. Oops, I snagged my yarn. Okay. And chain 1 and turn. So continue doing that, and I'll see you when we have this little piece done so that we can do the trim on both sides. So at the end of our 12 rows, let's leave a tail, probably about 18 inches long. We'll use that to sew it on. We will have other ends, but we want this one to do the work that we want it to do, to sew it on. Okay, so next we're going to do is we're going to add black to the sides here and here. So the width of the single crochet is the same width that we will need to place 1 single crochet per row. So we should have 12 single crochets on each side. So insert your hook, drop a loop. We have 1, go to the next row, 2, 3, here's 4 so far, here's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. Now, I thought of something that would be a little bit easier instead of cutting the yarn. So let's go ahead and chain 5. And then we'll just come right on over to the other side. Well, here's chain 6, make it so that it'll work a little bit better. Okay, and so we'll pick up. Now remember, this chain will go underneath when we sew on the band. So here we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, you get the idea. I know I'm showing you every step of the way here. All right, so go ahead and I'll meet you right down here. So here we have this piece with all these loose threads hanging on it. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing with the maroon like we've been doing all along. Okay, so here I already have a loop in here. Okay, so I've made my loop. Let's enlarge that just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook and pull up that loop. Make sure you grab the right one. I've done it before where I've grabbed the tail. Okay, so we're going to be doing the same thing. Do a slip knot. Gives a nice little chain stitch look on top. Okay, can you see that? So insert your hook, pull up the loop, and through the loop on your hook. When you get down there to the end of the row, go ahead and chain 6 or 7, or however many you need, remembering that it will go under the band when we create the bow and sew the circle shut. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Create your little chain here and down this end, and we'll be done. So for our tails, let's go ahead and separate the beige because we're going to need that for sewing. So take the 2 from one side and the 2 from the other side, and go ahead and place a loose join of these tails, and just place a square knot in the back. Okay, and this beige one here. I'm going to bring it up just a couple of stitches. And that'll get that out of the way. Remember, whenever you pull things through, pull back on your work, and that'll allow that to ease right in. Okay, next thing we got to do is sew this onto our hat with the folded bow, and we will be ready to wear it. I know you're excited. I know I am. I know you must be going, ooh, I like this. Well, I hope you do. Okay, we have a couple more steps left to do to finish our hat. So, let's see. We're going to take this and fold it in half, and then raise one end up and raise the other end up. So we have a nice little fold right here in the center. Okay, make sure everybody's in line, straight. That's what that line was to do, is to help you to keep it straight. Okay, so we're going to take our band and go over. I guess I'm going to have to pull that through the center. Okay, and then wrap it around and make sure that you put the chains into the center right here. And the knot and all that other stuff, stuff it down in there. Now this is on the back side. We're just going to do a whip stitch. After we do this whip stitch, we'll sew the band here to the hat, and then we have one more step left to do. Okay, so here we have the center with our band. So we're going to take take this and fold it up and bring the bottom of the hat, those 5 stitches that are open here, and line it up. We're going to take and stitch through that center back as well on that band onto the hat. And when all this is setting down, you won't be able to see the stitching. I'm going to go over some of this right here. Okay, so before we cut anything, let's go ahead and take our hat and look and see what we have here. Okay, so the brim comes down and the bow will flare out just like this. Okay, we still have to tack our bows down because if you hold it up, you'll see that the bows want to fall down. So we're going to tack them here and here. But before we do that, we want to section it up the way it's supposed to be. Okay, and you'll see this fold here, we're going to tack it just on the inside of this fold so that way we can puff it out, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So however your bow is going to look, make sure that it's identical on the other side. So let's go ahead and tie this off, and then we will use just some regular yarn to hold it down. Okay. In a sense, what we've done was a millinery piece, and I think this is a real nice looking hat that you can wear spring, summer, fall, however your coloring is on it. Okay, so before we turn the camera off, lay it out like this. Okay, the bow comes over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. I went through to the back. Now this is going to get covered by this piece here, so we can just place a square knot here and that'll hold it. Now the fun part is make sure we do it at the same place on the other side. So we have the fold, we see it's right here underneath this, so let's bring this down here, the third one over, so I'll be placing a stitch right here. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you my final results. So here we are on my styrofoam headpiece. I think once you see when you make yours that your brim will be just as stiff as mine is. Here we have a nice little opening in the back that shows the bow itself. Okay, so here I look in this hat. Now don't look at my hair, I'm having a bad hair day. Okay, so here I'm going to turn around, show you what it looks like in the back. I really like this hat. I think it is super cute, and I think it'll be functional, especially during this spring and summer. So till next time, I hope things go well for you. Hope nothing will cause your day to be sad. Please come back again. I'll have another crochet tutorial for you, and who knows what it'll be. So till next time, bye bye.